Welcome to The Mommy's Celestial Menorah and the Stunning Angelic Revelation. This video unveils a 26-year Gnostic discovery of cosmic symmetry and unconditional love.
The author is Paulo Luiz Franca, 61, whose stellar journey spans from the early 2000s to March 27, 2026. This journey is rooted in Juazeiro, Bahia, and Petrolina, Pernambuco, Brazil.
This video is dedicated to the loving memory of Brisa, Mommy's daughter, who returned to heaven. Brisa was born on June 4, 2015, and passed away on April 13, 2026. The heart of the journey centers around a black pet dachshund named Mommy. She arrived in 2013, became a mother to 6 puppies, and illuminated the author's life for a decade. She was welcomed by the Lord Jesus on Christmas Day 2023. Mommy is the earthly companion at the center of this cosmic exploration. She became the mother of 6 puppies, forming a complete family of exactly 7, a number that echoes beyond the earthly realm. Mommy's 11 years of illuminating existence as the Muse, a dachshund affectionately named after becoming a mother. Her departure on Christmas Day 2023 inspired a mission to transform grief into an invaluable, unsellable legacy. A cosmic revelation unlocked by loyalty proves that profound cosmic truths are often revealed to the humble and faithful. Kelef, the Hebrew word for dog, translates literally to like the heart. The anatomy of Kelev is the combination of ke, like, and lev, heart. Dogs are an ancient reminder of loyalty, faithfulness, and unconditional love, representing a heart-centered devotion. The linguistic anatomy of a divine companion is revealed in Genesis 2:19-20. The dog acts as an earthly extension of the Creator's loyalty, faithfulness, and unconditional love. Mommy is the sole anchor of the revelation. Her legacy is titled The Mommy's Celestial Menorah. She is the earthly heart of this 26-year cosmic work. This stellar journey of 26 years by Paulo Luiz Franca spans from the early 2000s to its precise culmination on March 27, 2026. The earthly coordinates of this celestial event are rooted in the sister cities of Juazeiro, Bahia, and Petrolina, Pernambuco, along the São Francisco River.
This video unveils a secret hidden for 24 years. It began with the ominous precursor on August 11, 1999, the final solar eclipse of the millennium, forming a cosmic cross. Following this, the 24-year vigil from May 2000 to the present has kept the true sequence of events locked away, awaiting release. In the first week of May 2000, as the global population crossed 6 billion, the heavens displayed a breathtaking, symmetrical arrangement of 7 luminaries. This profound spiritual significance has remained veiled for nearly a quarter of a century, awaiting the metaphysical coordinates of 2024 to be revealed. May 2000 marked the event where the celestial Tabernacle lampstand appeared, when the global population was about 6 billion. Over 24 years, the world's population surged by 2 billion. This revelation was guarded in sacred secrecy until the exact moment for its public unveiling during the 2024-2026 period. This secret was held in sacred trust for 24 years by a single, silent witness. The demographic shift saw the world surge in quantity, yet the quality of spiritual witnesses thinned. The release is only being unveiled now, at precise metaphysical coordinates. In the year 2000, the global population reached 6 billion, and the celestial lampstand appeared. By 2024 to 2026, the global population approaches 8 billion, and the secret is finally unveiled. This vision was held in a 24-year strategic silence. From May 2000, with a global population of around 6 billion, the Menorah appeared. To 2024 to 2026, when the global population exceeds 8 billion, the secret is finally revealed. Out of billions, no one else claimed the witness of the celestial menorah for 24 years. A little before 2000, in 1999, specifically August 11th, was the fixed Grand Cross, the last solar eclipse of the millennium. It was a sign of cosmic tension and the fear of the end of days. The celestial catalyst spans from 1999 to 2000. On August 11th, 1999, the final solar eclipse formed a cosmic cross, interpreted as apocalypse by the world, but as a prelude to a celestial celebration by initiates. Then, from May 2 to 5, 2000, the true celestial menorah emerged.
The starting point is a plea for understanding the 7 planets of the menorah, first read in the works of Flavius Josephus. The quote, "Who has despised the day of small things," from Zechariah 4:10, will be very useful in this entire work. The core of this beginning centers on the rooftop ritual. It details the context, a 3-day prayer vigil in early 2000. The setup involved 9 candles, a matchbox, and a Holy Bible. The inquiry was a specific prayer for understanding the 7 planets of ancient cosmology and their connection to the Tabernacle's menorah. As a personal testimony for clarification, the ritual was performed on an open-air rooftop, the highest spot in the home. 9 candles were used to encompass the 9 recognized planets in 2000, and the Hanukkah menorah, a 9-branched candelabrum. Just in case, 9 includes 7, but 7 doesn't include 9. This revelation was first shared in April 2024, honoring Mommy, the dachshund's memory and legacy, and completed on March 27, 2026. This ritual was the first time the author ever lit candles to pray. This was a 3-day ritual in the shadows of the millennium. The context was the author's drive to understand the 7 planets of antiquity. The invocation involved a 9-candle ritual to beseech the Creator for enlightenment. The silent acceptance occurred when an unexplainable gust extinguished the flames, a confirmation that the prayer was heard. In the year 2000, while the world feared the millennium bug, a prayer was made for clarity. The ritual involved a 3-day prayer with 9 candles, seeking the true significance of the 7 menorah lamps. The sign received was a supernatural soft breeze that bent the flames, followed by a focused gust that extinguished them all at once. The rooftop enigma of early 2000 has 4 parts. The setting was an altar of the open air on a rooftop in Brazil. The ritual was a 3-day prayer seeking gnosis regarding the 7 planets and the Tabernacle menorah. The visitation involved a soft, unearthly breeze bending the 9 flames without extinguishing them. The confirmation was a strong, hyper-focused gust that simultaneously extinguished all 9 candles. The angelic encounter happened in 2 sequences. Sequence 1, the gathering. Upon lighting the final candle, a gentle, unnatural breeze bent all 9 flames without extinguishing them. Sequence 2, the acceptance. Immediately following, a strong, highly focused gust snuffed out all 9 candles simultaneously. This was interpreted as a divine thumbs up, signaling the messenger collected the prayer. An unseen presence acknowledged the petition through 3 stages. 1. The ignition. The 9th and final candle is lit in a completely windless atmosphere. 2. The touch. A sudden, soft breeze enters, bending the flames, signifying an ethereal presence without extinguishing the light. 3. The collection. A strong, hyper-focused gust of wind simultaneously extinguishes all 9 candles, leaving the surroundings untouched. This event is a mystery in the dark. The setting was Juazeiro, Bahia, Brazil. The ritual was a 3-day, open-air prayer seeking divine insight into the relationship between the 7 classical planets and the menorah. The anomaly occurred when, upon lighting the final candle, an unseen presence arrived, bending and then instantly extinguishing all 9 flames. The unanswered question remained: who arrived to collect the prayer? This is the breath of revelation. The event? A soft breeze touched the flames, bending but not extinguishing them. The presence? I sensed an ethereal entity arriving to convey my prayer to God. The answer? A strong, focused gust extinguished all the candles simultaneously. Overwhelmed with reverence, I knew my prayer had been received.
The celestial event known as the Great Alignment occurred in May 2000. Astronomers reported a rare grouping of the 7 classical planets in the constellation of Taurus. This event was seen as a revelation delivered. An EastOA magazine article from May 3, 2000 anticipated this celestial event, stating, "The Earth will change." The Earth will change. On May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 7 luminaries, the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn, will be grouped in the sign of Taurus and will continue the celebration of the sky. EastOA magazine, May 3rd, 2000. The Great Planetary Alignment of May 2000 followed the cosmic cross solar eclipse of 1999. The planets clustered tightly and were largely invisible from Earth due to solar glare, but were captured by the SOHO spacecraft. The heavens responded with a breathtaking architectural alignment. The 7 classical wandering stars gathered in the constellation of Taurus during the first week of May 2000. This cosmic stage saw Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and the Moon assemble in a precise geocentric order, recreating the Tabernacle Menorah in planetary light. The cast of 7 luminaries involved in this alignment were the Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. The May 2000 planetary alignment was the resolution to the immense cosmic tension created by the August 1999 fixed Grand Cross and total solar eclipse. The planets gathered in a rare alignment, serving as the ultimate celestial exclamation point. During the first week of May 2000, the 7 classical luminaries, the planets or wanderers of ancient cosmology, arranged themselves in a breathtaking planetary alignment. The heavens aligned into a sacred architecture. From east to west, the precise, symmetrical, geocentric order of the 7 luminaries formed a continuous arc, echoing the ancient blueprint hidden in the Tabernacle. The sky above Taurus in May 2000 showed the 7 classical luminaries gathered tightly within a narrow visual arc of the ecliptic from May 1st to May 6th, 2000.
On May 2nd, 2000, at exactly 5:30 p.m. UTC, the 7 celestial bodies formed a perfect arch over the horizon. Looking south from the northern hemisphere, the heavens reconstructed the lost temple menorah directly above Jerusalem. This rare geocentric configuration on May 2nd, 2000, at 5:30 p.m. UTC, briefly locked the dynamic wanderers into the static architecture of the Tabernacle. This is a sign in the heavens from May 2nd and 3rd, 2000, observed at 5:30 p.m. UTC. A perfect celestial arc was visible across the hemispheres. The perfect 3-1-3 geocentric architecture displays a flawless, scientifically verified sequence, physically manifesting a 7-branched structure. The sun acts as the central pillar, holding the heavens in perfect balance. This illustrates the 3-1-3 celestial symmetry. The offset variances align, demonstrating a perfect mathematical mirroring across the sun.
The Great Alignment of May 2000 involved a rare planetary alignment, organizing the 7 visible luminaries across the sky in a tight arc. The cosmos naturally replicated the exact structure of the 7-branched menorah.
The sweet spot occurred on May 2nd, 2000, at 5:30 p.m. UTC. The rapid orbital velocity of the Moon crossed the threshold of perfect mathematical equilibrium with the leading position of Mars at this exact moment. At 5:30 p.m. UTC, the visual balance between the outermost left branch and the outermost right branch differed by an imperceptible fraction, forming a perfect 3-1-3 symmetry. The celestial reality on May 2nd, 2000, at 5:30 p.m. UTC, was a rare geocentric alignment. The heavens physically mirrored the Tabernacle's golden lampstand, although invisible to the naked eye due to the sun's glare. The cosmic reality in May 2000 shows that at 5:30 p.m. UTC on May 2nd, the heavens arranged themselves into a precise mathematical and visual alignment.
This is a masterpiece of mathematical balance. The trailing edge and leading edge perfectly mirror one another, establishing near flawless bookends around the sun.
At 5:30 p.m. UTC, the heavens achieved a state of near-perfect visual poise, with a difference of only 0.001 hours in right ascension between the outer edges.
A sign in the heavens, May 2nd, 2000. The rare celestial arc visible across the hemispheres on May 2nd and 3rd, 2000, with the peak alignment at 5:30 p.m. UTC. On May 2nd, 2000, at exactly 5:30 p.m. UTC, the 7 visible bodies formed a perfect arc. Verified by scientific data, the heavens appeared to reconstruct the lost temple Menorah directly above Jerusalem, known as the zenith of the celestial menorah. This rare geocentric configuration on May 2nd, 2000, at 5:30 p.m. UTC shows the Sun as the central hub, or Shamash. To the left are the eastern branch planets, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. To the right are the western branch luminaries, Mercury, Venus, and the Moon. This is the perfect 3-1-3 geocentric architecture. The Sun acts as the central pillar, maintaining perfect balance, with 3 bodies on the eastern horizon and 3 on the western horizon. This sequence physically manifests a 7-branched structure. The 313 celestial symmetry demonstrates a perfect mathematical mirroring. The offset variances of the planets, from Mars to Jupiter and Mercury to the Moon, align precisely around the Sun, showcasing a remarkable balance. The Great Alignment of May 2000 was a rare planetary alignment on May 2nd to 3rd, 2000, best viewed at 5:30 p.m. UTC. The cosmos replicated the structure of the 7-branched menorah, an exact, mathematically perfect cosmic structure. This sweet spot at May 2, 2000, 5:30 p.m. UTC was the moment when the Moon's rapid orbital velocity crossed the threshold of perfect mathematical equilibrium, balancing with the leading position of Mars. At 5:30 p.m. UTC on May 2, 2000, the moment of perfect visual equilibrium occurred. The visual balance between the outermost left branch, Mars, and the outermost right branch, the Moon, differed by a mere 0.001 hours of right ascension, forming a 3-1-3 symmetry. The celestial reality of May 2nd, 2000 shows the Sun as the central hub. The eastern heralds, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter, were rising before the Sun, while the western retinue, Mercury, Venus, and the Moon, were trailing. This rare alignment mirrored the Tabernacle's golden lampstand. The cosmic reality of May 2000 illustrates how the heavens arranged themselves into a precise mathematical and visual alignment at 5:30 p.m. UTC. The Sun acts as the central hub, with Mars trailing to the left and the Moon leading to the right. This alignment is a masterpiece of mathematical balance. The trailing edge and leading edge perfectly mirrored one another to the thousandth of an RA hour, establishing near-flawless bookends around the Sun. At 5:30 p.m. UTC, the heavens achieved a state of near-perfect visual poise, with a difference of just 0.001 hours in right ascension between the far edges of the alignment, a truly imperceptible fraction to the naked eye.
We are measuring the microcluster, a scale comparison that proves extreme density. The total sky coverage is just 24.77 degrees. The ecliptic arc is the subtle, curved string of pearls formed by the alignment of the planets. Individual planetary orbits are slightly inclined relative to Earth's orbit, so planets do not form a perfectly straight line. All 7 bodies are gravitationally bound to the ecliptic, the geometric plane of our solar system's disk. From Earth's perspective, this creates a diagonal string of pearls draped across the sky. The Keplerian laws of motion are evident in the rapid movement of the Moon compared to the stationary giants, which serve as the static anchor of the conjunction. Within the larger 33.5-degree Menorah, Jupiter and Saturn continued their own independent Great Conjunction with a microscopic separation of 0.2 hours in right ascension. In the 48-hour velocity matrix, the glacial giants, Jupiter and Saturn, shift by fractions of a degree. The rapid sweeper, the Moon, acts as the catalyst, shifting at a high velocity to complete the alignment. The swift traveler, the waning crescent moon, moved at 13 degrees per day and acted as the final leftmost candle. It held the balance of the Menorah against the slower outer giants. The fast-moving moon sweeps in to lock the formation on May 2nd, the convergence threshold, creating a tight convergence funnel for all 7 bodies. The 313 symmetry was a fleeting moment made possible by the moon's transit. At the vanishing point on May 4th, the delicate balance collapsed into a lopsided 214 configuration, extinguishing the celestial Menorah.
The terminal vanishing point on May 4th at 4:12 a.m. UTC. On May 4th, the moon pulled eastward of the sun, instantly breaking the 313 structure and plunging the celestial Menorah into darkness.
The golden symmetry was brief. On May 4th, 2000, at exactly 4:12 a.m. UTC, the moon crossed the sun in a new moon phase, and the 313 architecture was lost forever into the depths of space.
The conclusion of this sacred alignment arrived with the new moon at 4:12 a.m. UTC. The perfect 313 pattern was swallowed by absolute darkness, highlighting that divine signs are intentionally fleeting. The event unfolded in 3 stages. Stage 1 was the anchor, followed by Stage 2, the vanishing point, at 4:12 a.m. UTC, where the 313 symmetry dissolved. Stage 3 was the collapse, shifting the grouping to a lopsided 214. The moon's shift relative to Venus and Mercury caused a double flicker of alignment in the western branch, reaching its zenith on May 3rd. The formation vanished entirely into the new moon mystery at 4:12 a.m. UTC on May 4th. The swift catalyst was the moon, moving about 13 degrees per day. The celestial Menorah, a living phenomenon, existed for a fleeting 72-hour window before the 313 symmetry collapsed into a 214 group and the cosmic lampstand vanished. The swift transit of the moon erased the celestial signature. May 2nd was the golden moment of peak symmetry. May 3rd was the shifting lamps as the moon crossed Venus and Mercury. May 4th brought the vanishing point as the moon crossed the sun, shattering the 313 pattern. Act 3. The 7th light vanishes into darkness. The alignment concludes on May 4th at 4:12 a.m. UTC with the new moon, as the moon and sun share the same longitude. The perfect 313 balance of the celestial Menorah is swallowed by darkness. This event was a kinetic symphony, bound by a fleeting window. From May 1st's gathering to May 2nd's peak visual symmetry, and May 3rd's moderate visual symmetry. It culminates in May 4th's collapse, breaking the symmetry into a 2-1-4 pattern. The 3-1-3 cosmic equilibrium involved an eastern weight with Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter, and a western weight with Mercury, Venus, and the Moon. The Sun acted as the central fulcrum, holding the heavens in balance. At 5:30 p.m. UTC on May 2, 2000, Mars on the eastern branch and the Moon on the western branch were in near-perfect equilibrium, with a variance of only 0.001 hours right ascension. This marked the ultimate frozen moment of balance. Uncovering the celestial menorah reveals the arrangement of the 7 wandering stars. The trailing flank includes the Moon, Venus, and Mercury. The pivot is the Sun. The leading flank includes Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. This is the 3-1-3 celestial menorah. At 5:30 p.m. UTC, the 7 bodies briefly synchronized into a strikingly balanced 3-1-3 symmetry, with the Sun acting as the central pivot, or shamash.
The masterpiece hidden in the light. We will explore a perfect geometric symmetry occurring entirely within the blinding glare of the Sun. The greatest alignments are not seen, they are decoded.
The Sun's physical brilliance acted as a paradox of light, blinding the world to the structural symmetry it supported. Therefore, the alignment required the eyes of the mind to perceive a deeper spiritual architecture. The Sun's unfettered radiation completely swallowed the alignment, resulting in zero visibility. Without an eclipse, the May 2000 alignment was lost entirely in the daytime glare. It was only visible via computer models and space telescopes.
The alignment was lost in the glare. The right ascension values for the Sun and all 5 planets fell tightly between 2.0 and 4.0 hours, masking the alignment from Earth-based observers. This was an invisible grand conjunction, with 7 luminaries clustered in Aries and Taurus. It was entirely invisible from Earth due to solar glare. The data is our only lens.
The invisible phenomenon occurred in early May 2000, when 5 naked-eye planets, the Moon and the Sun, clustered tightly. No human observer witnessed this alignment, as the cluster was lost within the overwhelming glare of the Sun.
The May 2000 Grand Conjunction was a mathematically balanced, geocentric masterpiece. It was one of the tightest 7-body alignments in modern history, playing out in absolute secrecy behind the glare of our own star.
The ephemeris, a diary of the sky, is a table tracking the precise trajectory and position of naturally occurring astronomical objects over time. Our forensic record is a 6-day Python skyfield tracking log, mapping right ascension and declination in 30-minute intervals starting May 1, 2000.
Extracting the ephemeris telemetry reveals a high-fidelity match for the observation window of May 1st to May 6th, 2000. We utilized the Python Skyfield ephemeris, matching NASA JPL horizons and IAU standards with a high confidence score.
Validating the heavens through ephemeris data shows the 7 celestial bodies were tightly grouped in the sky. The consistent right ascension values confirm the visual reality of the celestial menorah.
The mathematical ledger highlights the near-perfect equilibrium between the trailing and leading distances. The outer envelope achieved absolute equilibrium, with a difference of just 0.001 hours in right ascension. Verifying the geocentric telemetry confirms the dataset operates on an Earth-centered model. Topocentric adjustments and format conversions match known IAU archives, validating the data's integrity. The alignment diagnostic roster at 5:30 p.m. UTC shows the Sun as the 0 point. The Sun relative offset confirms the close clustering of the celestial bodies.
This data represents 48 hours of raw celestial mechanics. The table shows 30-minute intervals for the 7 celestial bodies from May 1st to May 6th, 2000.
On the human scale, the total angular separation from Mars to the Moon was 33.56 degrees.
the entire 7-body alignment would have fit across the width of just 3.5 to 4 human fists held at arm's length if the solar glare had been magically extinguished. Scaling the 33.5-degree window shows a total right ascension span of 2.23 hours. This sky coverage represents 33.5 degrees of the total visual sphere. The entire planetary package would fit behind roughly 3 to 4 fists held at arm's length. The observer's paradox illustrates hemispheric symmetry. Because the sun is centered in the right ascension span, the cluster acts as a mirrored pendant, perfectly inverted based on the observer's latitude. Despite inverted physical views from the northern and southern hemispheres, the mathematical reality and sequential integrity of the 313 planetary architecture remained perfectly unbroken. This demonstrates one cosmic architecture with 2 earthly perspectives. The terrestrial viewport shows the alignment from both the northern and southern hemispheres. In London, the moon leads the arc, rising through the sun down to Mars. In Sydney, the arc anchors at the moon, reaching upward through the sun toward Mars. This was a universal phenomenon on May 2nd and 3rd, 2000. Views from London and Sydney demonstrate the sun as the central hub, with the alignment mirrored based on the observer's hemisphere. 3 cosmological lenses explain the phenomenon. The geocentric view captures the visual phenomenon. The heliocentric view represents the gravitational truth, and the tychonic view depicts the physical, 3-dimensional architecture of the alignment. The 3 planetary models are unified. The geocentric model gives the meaning. The heliocentric model gives the gravity and explains why the sun is central. And the tychonic model gives the built form, with Earth as the fixed base. We examined the 3 lenses on divine architecture: geocentric, heliocentric, and tychonic. The geocentric model maps the luminaries by their visual period. The heliocentric places the sun at the physical center, and the tychonic is a geocentric hybrid, revealing the physical anatomy. The cosmological Rosetta Stone shows 3 distinct complementary lenses. The geocentric model explains the menorah itself. The heliocentric explains why the sun is the center, and the tychonic model explains the physical form of the lampstand. These 3 cosmologies form one unified sacred architecture. The geocentric model confirms the menorah's existence. The heliocentric explains the physics of the sun's central role, and the tychonic model explains the physical shape, with Earth as the foundational base.
The tabernacle is viewed from a creationist perspective as the earthly image of a heavenly reality, constructed to bridge the divine realm with the mundane. The Bible instructs us to make everything according to the pattern of the tabernacle, suggesting a cosmic blueprint.
The tabernacle is a portable cosmos, an imago mundi, or scale model of the universe. It is divided into 3 distinct realms: the outer court, representing the physical realm of Earth, the holy place, representing the heavens, and the Holy of Holies, representing the divine throne.
The concept of imago mundi suggests that the tabernacle was not merely a tent, but a miniature model of the cosmos. To fully understand the macrocosm, or the universe, one must study this microcosm, the temple.
Ancient traditions hold that the terrestrial temple mirrors its celestial counterpart, based on the instruction to make everything according to the pattern of the tabernacle. The ultimate goal is to connect with the divine realm, and the temple serves as the physical space for that communication.
The layout of the tabernacle serves as an earthly mirror of the heavens. East, the entrance, faces the dawn, where celestial bodies rise. West, the Holy of Holies, represents the setting direction and the eternal divine presence.
As a geometric observatory, the tabernacle is precisely aligned. North, with the table of showbread, represents the fixed reference frame of the 12 zodiac signs. South, with the menorah, physically mirrors the southern sky's ecliptic path.
The tabernacle was strictly oriented east to west. From the latitude of Jerusalem, planets always transit across the southern sky, never reaching the zenith. The menorah, facing the observer, maps the ecliptic arc. The menorah on the south wall physically represents the southern ecliptic, or the golden line. Planets and the sun never pass directly overhead from Jerusalem's latitude, always transiting the southern half of the sky. The observer's compass within the tabernacle shows east as the rising sun and west as the setting. When facing the menorah on the south wall, the menorah becomes a literal scale model of the southern sky, reflecting the ecliptic path. The concept of entering the cosmic tent suggests a celestial alignment. Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter held higher ecliptic longitudes, dictating a sequence where they symbolically entered the conceptual front door of the tabernacle before the sun. Flavius Josephus noted that the tabernacle faced east to meet the rising sun. During a May 2000 alignment, the outer planets, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter, breached the horizon first, acting as the heralds, followed by the sovereign, the sun.
The menorah is described in Exodus 25:31-40. The divine instructions for the tabernacle lampstand dictate 3 branches on each side of a central shaft, mirroring the architecture of the sky. The 7-branched menorah is a functional, physical representation of the solar system's divine order, built of gold.
This slide highlights the ancient blueprint of the tabernacle menorah. The central shaft functions as the solar anchor, and the 6 branches represent the planetary spheres performing their revolutions. It was designed as a cosmic map, mirroring the mechanics of the heavens and modeling a grander celestial reality.
The temple menorah, described in Exodus 25:31-40, is the ultimate symbol of divine light and ancient Jewish continuity. It has exactly 7 branches, styled like a tree of life, and functioned as the central ritual object, providing a continuous, unyielding light during the eras of the first and second temples.
Crafted from a single piece of pure gold, the menorah was more than just a lampstand. It was designed as a stylized almond tree, representing life. The mystery of the number 7 is revealed as it corresponds to the 7 visible wanderers, or classical planets of the ancient sky.
The original tabernacle lampstand was hammered from a single block of pure gold. It was crafted entirely hammered out, or miksha, not cast in a mold. The structure featured a central shaft with 3 branches extending from each side, culminating in exactly 7 lamps. It was placed opposite the table of shewbread to provide light for priestly service. The menorah's structure perfectly mirrors the native Salvia palestina plant. This includes the gevim, or cups holding the oil, kaftorim, or bulbs at the branch joints, and ferakim, or decorative blossoms integrated into the design. The ancient menorah was designed as a luminous map of the solar system. Classical sources, including Flavius Josephus, Philo of Alexandria, and Midrashic texts, support the thesis that the lampstand evolved from a botanical masterwork to an archetypal representation of the classical planets. The golden ornaments encoded 70 celestial divisions. The exact count of hammered ornaments, including knots, lilies, pomegranates, and bowls, totaled 70, which Josephus states secretly intimated the decani, the 70 astrological divisions. The candelabrum was placed obliquely, pointing east and south to mimic the luminaries' movements. The tabernacle served as a cosmic mirror. The menorah was an astronomical instrument designed to capture a moment in time, a geocentric map of the solar system. The ecliptic line functioned as a structural crossbar for the planets, aligning the physical sky with the ancient artifact. The architectural scale of the menorah evolved alongside Jerusalem's temples. This timeline spans from King Solomon's scale in 960 BCE to the Maccabean return in 167 BCE, and finally, the Arch of Titus in 70 CE, showcasing the menorah's historical and archaeological significance. It is critical to distinguish between the 7-branched menorah and the 9-branched Hanukkah. Conflating these objects is akin to confusing a Torah scroll with a mezuzah.
They must never be treated as interchangeable, as they differ in context, significance, and usage.
The divine blueprint is the seven-branched menorah, an ancient temple artifact originating in Exodus 25. Its symbolism represents the cosmos, the seven planets, and divine order for daily, eternal service. The historical miracle is the nine-branched Hanukkah, symbolizing the Maccabean rebellion and the miracle of the oil, celebrated for 8 nights.
The temple menorah is historically distinct from the festival Hanukkah. The menorah has 7 branches, originated during the Tabernacle and Temple periods, was lit daily by priests, and symbolizes the cosmos and 7 planets. The Hanukkah has 9 branches, originated post-Temple antiquity, is lit annually for 8 days, and symbolizes the Maccabean miracle of the oil.
This table disambiguates the cosmic temple menorah and the historical Hanukkah based on branches, origin, symbolism, and ritual. The revelation focuses solely on the ancient 7-branched menorah, the only structure capable of mirroring the mathematical symmetry of the heavens.
The golden menorah is the eternal, celestial blueprint revealed to Moses on Mount Sinai, directly mirroring the 7 luminaries and days of creation. The Hanukkah is temporal and historical, originating in the 2nd century BCE, commemorating the Maccabean revolt, and is considered a human-made tradition, not the cosmic archetype. The sacred blueprints distinguish these artifacts. The menorah has 7 branches, originated in the ancient temple, symbolizes the cosmos and divine order, and was used daily. The Hanukkah has 9 branches, originated post-Maccabean, symbolizes the historical miracle of the oil, and is used seasonally. The celestial reflection relies solely on the 7-branched menorah.
The menorah's connection to the 7 planets has a strong witness in antiquity, supported by early historical records. Both Philo of Alexandria and Flavius Josephus explicitly linked the 7 lamps to the 7 planets. This concept forms a Gnostic bridge, where Jewish tradition, or revealed faith, intersects with Hellenistic philosophy, which included astronomy. These early scholars understood that ancient Israelites did not separate the science of the heavens from the worship of the Creator. The explicit connection between the 7 lamps of the menorah and the 7 planets is not modern speculation. It was the explicit intent of the designers, as documented by Flavius Josephus and Philo of Alexandria in the 1st century. Josephus established the baseline. The 7 lamps universally represent the 7 planets. Philo created the positional map, organizing the cosmos into a strict 3-1-3 geometry, with the sun as the central choir master. Philo's theoretical blueprint demands a central sun. The sun's annual cycle sits at the exact mathematical median of the orbital speeds, placing it on the central shaft of the menorah, creating a perfect 3-1-3 balance. Philo's period ladder is the only ancient positional map for the menorah in a geocentric universe. Orbital speed dictates vertical position, the 3 slowest above, the sun as the pivot in the center, and the 3 fastest below. Philo categorized the planets by their observed orbital speeds and deduced that the sun must occupy the 4th, median position. It is the choir master, balancing 3 faster luminaries below and 3 slower luminaries above. Philo's 1st century conjecture of a symmetrical 3-1-3 celestial layout centered on the sun was nearly realized in the celestial alignment of May 2, 2000, with only a single internal swap between the 2 gas giants. The arrangement of the planets generates a harmonious, divine music. Philo described the central sun as the choir master, transmitting light. Clement of Alexandria adapted this, viewing the sun as the dispenser of divine music and a symbol for Christ. Both rabbinic and Hellenistic scholars agreed on the hierarchy of the lights, with the sun in the midst. Clement of Alexandria added that the 3 branches on either side reflect the exact planetary orbits of his time, with the central lamp explicitly identified as the sun. A vast consensus across ancient traditions recognized the menorah's cosmic architecture. Sources from Josephus and Philo to Midrash Bamidbar Rabbah and Targum Jonathan confirm the 7 lamps correspond to the 7 celestial lights.
Midrash Tadshe, section 2, states that the 7 lamps of the menorah correspond to the 7 planets: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. The text emphasizes that just as there is a chief among the planets, there is a central lamp in the menorah.
The menorah can be seen as the ultimate tree of eternal life, based on Josephus's documentation of its features, including pomegranates. This fruit represents spiritual sustenance and the eternal flame of the divine cosmos. The menorah is a living relic. The Antiquities record shows the candelabrum included botanical life with knops, lilies, and pomegranates. By linking celestial luminaries with living fruit, the menorah functions as a cosmic tree of life. Clement of Alexandria noted that the lamps were shown the motions of the 7 planets. These 7 wandering stars of antiquity, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, were tracked for thousands of years and seen as divine, living architecture. The 7 wanderers of antiquity include the 5 planets visible to the naked eye, plus the Sun and the Moon. These 7 bodies moved against the backdrop of the fixed stars, which maintained their positions relative to one another. Fixed stars are celestial bodies that maintain their positions, forming the static backdrop of constellations. The wanderers, or planetes, moved in varying directions and speeds against this fixed backdrop, signifying a divine presence to ancient cultures.
The as above, so below reflection illustrates the deep connection between the macrocosm and the microcosm. In the macrocosm, the sun acts as the central heart, illuminating the surrounding branches. In the microcosm, Mommy acts as the emotional pillar, helping to unlock the cosmic mystery. As above, so below suggests that Earth is the spiritual center of a divinely structured system. The cosmic theater mirrors the faithful light of a terrestrial creature, emphasizing that the blueprint is singular. Beyond the temple walls, the menorah's 7 branches mirror the architecture of the heavens, representing the cosmic tree of life. Its central flame anchors the celestial spheres, with the Sun as the central hub, surrounded by Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, and the Moon. The anatomy of the celestial menorah shows the Sun as the central attendant, or shamash. The descending celestial coordinates perfectly mirror the sacred geometry of the Tabernacle menorah, aligning the left and right branches with specific planets and their radial angle measurements. The ancient biblical tabernacle from the Sinai desert was more than a sanctuary. Through a first-century Philonic lens, it was a geocentric map of the solar system, demonstrating a 3-1-3 divine symmetry: 3 luminaries on the left, the central sun, and 3 on the right. The 3-1-3 formation of May 2nd and 3rd, 2000 illustrates a perfect balance, with 3 bodies rising in the east and 3 setting in the west, with the sun holding the universe in equilibrium. This fleeting harmony involved a rapid, shifting menorah sequence. On May 2nd at 5:30 p.m. UTC, the symmetrical masterpiece peaked. This geocentric masterpiece found the golden ratio of the sky, matching the distance from the sun to the outermost branches. This perfect 3-1-3 formation was an ephemeral window, shattered quickly by the swift-moving moon. The celestial menorah at its peak on May 2nd, 2000, shows the sun as the central hub, or shamash. The eastern branch includes Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars, while the western branch holds Mercury, Venus, and the Moon. This 3-1-3 celestial balance at 5:30 p.m. UTC demonstrated mathematical spacing that made the planets appear as symmetrical branches radiating from a central point. The left branch contains the outer giants, and the right branch contains the inner luminaries fanning out. The 3-1-3 planetary menorah maps the ancient tabernacle. The eastern rising group represents strength and wisdom. The western setting group represents messengers, And the central hub, the sun, acts as the shamash, maintaining cosmic equilibrium. Mapping the 313 celestial menorah shows a perfect fleeting symmetry along the ecliptic crossbar. The eastern branches, with high longitude, include Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. The central hub is the Sun, and the western branches, with low longitude, are Mercury, Venus, and the Moon. The true alignment of May 2nd to May 3rd, 2000 was a perfect 313 symmetry centered around the Sun, the shamash. This flawless celestial menorah remained hidden from the naked eye by the sun's blinding glare. The ultimate synthesis is the cosmic tree of life, where the rigid gold of the Exodus menorah softens into a living botanical entity. The universe is an organism, not a machine, and the sun provides the life force, anchoring the celestial branches. The cosmic tree of life synthesis emphasizes that the universe is a living organism. The menorah is the skeleton, the planets are the fruit, the archangels are the guardians, and the loyal heart sits at the roots. The astronomical and the domestic are one singular design. The shift from rigid structure to living blueprint shows the menorah fusing with the tree of life. The branches, representing the 7 chief angels, mirror the divine hierarchy. Planetary orbits, the Tabernacle, and angelic orders are parallel expressions of a single divine choreography. According to Exodus 25, the Tabernacle menorah was not merely a metal stand, but a liturgical representation of the tree of life from Eden. This biological blueprint features the trunk as the axis of divine life, almond blossoms symbolizing vitality, and luminous fruit as the celestial lights. Bridging earthly devotion and universal architecture, the menorah is the earthly vessel, while the tree of life is its cosmic counterpart. The synthesis transforms this ancient symbol into a universal cradle holding celestial bodies, elevating a personal tribute to a cosmic scale. The botanical blueprint describes the menorah in organic terms: branches, bowls like almond blossoms, buds, and flowers. The almond tree, the first to wake after winter, and the tree of life represent divine light flowing into the physical world, like sap through a tree. The eternal symbol, the tree is life, features biblical specifications of branches, buds, blossoms, and fruit. The synthesis reveals a machine of light and a living organism, showing the cosmos is not a cold mechanism, but a living creation. Key elements include pure beaten gold, hammered, not cast, representing the endurance of truth. Hand-crushed olive oil fuels divine abundance. The almond tree represents a frozen moment of the living tree of life, blooming with luminous cosmic fruit.
The ancients viewed the planets as luminaries of the heavens, believing them to be vessels and instruments of the Most High. The moon, for example, was described as governing the times, an everlasting sign, and a celestial guide watched over by the 7 archangels. The vision described in Zechariah provides a prophetic clue. When asked what the 7 lamps of the golden candlestick are, the angel replies that they are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth. This phrase perfectly describes the erratic, wandering motion of the 7 classical planets against the fixed stars. The prophet Zechariah experienced a vision confirming the active, wandering nature of these 7 lights. The ancient understanding saw these planets not as dead rocks, but as the dynamic, watchful eyes of the Creator, constantly observing the earthly realm. Across diverse civilizations and millennia, the human attempt to map the divine always converged on these 7 wandering stars. This table illustrates how the 7 luminaries were associated with different deities in Babylonian, Greek, and Roman pantheons. To the ancients, the vast majority of stars were fixed, but 7 distinct luminaries, known as the 7 wanderers or planetes, moved with independent agency across the sky. Their enduring legacy is visible today in the names of the days of the week. The cosmological nomenclature matrix connects each luminary to its associated deities and the corresponding day of the week. These wanderers' movements against the fixed stars led ancient peoples to associate them with archangels, the seven heavens, and the organization of time itself. A 24-year vigil ends in a tribute to a loyal spirit. The silence from 2000 to 2024 held a Gnostic truth as a private secret. The catalyst of a personal loss transformed grief into a mandate to honor a legacy. The offering is the decision to publish the Mommy's celestial menorah as a free gift, turning anguish into a beacon of light.
The Revelation, Friday, March 27, 2026. Exactly 26 years after the unseen presence collected the prayer in Brazil, the final puzzle piece falls into place. Reading the Book of Tobit revealed the identity of the mysterious figure who blew out the candles in 2000.
March 27, 2026 marked the discovery of the missing link. While reading the Book of Tobit in the Orthodox Study Bible, 4 details suddenly identified the ethereal presence from 26 years prior. The final piece of the 24-year puzzle was textual. The journey involved a 26-year vigil of the heart. Events spanned from the Spring 2000 ritual to the revelation in March 2026. The discovery of the celestial alignment was kept hidden as a 24-year spiritual vigil.
The missing piece is the Book of Tobit, a 3rd century BC text detailing God's response to prayer and the intercession of angels. Its canonical status divides traditions: deuterocanonical for Catholic and Orthodox, apocrypha for Protestants, and explicitly rejected by Rabbinic Judaism.
Echoes in Scripture. The Book of Tobit codifies the convergence of divine light and earthly companionship. The text chronicles a journey of divine intervention, where the angel Raphael is sent to heal blindness, bind demons, and guide the young Tobias.
The revelation of the dog occurred on March 27, 2026. After 26 years of searching, the Septuagint revealed a unique scriptural anchor. The Book of Tobit contains the only mention of a pet dog in the entire Bible, accompanying Tobias and Archangel Raphael. The biblical precedent in the Book of Tobit includes angelic guidance by the Archangel Raphael, divine healing using the fish's heart, liver, and bile, and the faithful companion, where the young man's dog went with them. The dog acts as a silent witness to divine intervention.
The Book of Tobit and the Cosmic Companion is a unique scriptural anchor. It is the only book featuring a domestic dog as a positive, protective companion. The unnamed dog is a silent witness to the miraculous, symbolizing the participation of the lower orders of creation in the grand design of providence.
Tobit 5:16 notes, "Then they both departed, and the young man's dog went with them." Amidst the grand theological narrative, the scripture deliberately notes a faithful canine companion walks alongside the angel and the human. The dog is witness to the divine light.
The Book of Tobit is distinct in ancient biblical texts for containing one of the only positive, companionable depictions of a dog. The scripture anchors this cosmic tribute, emphasizing the dog's presence on the journey and return. The young man's dog went with them.
The journey of Tobias, Raphael, and the dog includes the departure from Nineveh, the confrontation at the river Tigris, and the return and healing. Throughout these stages, the dog faithfully follows, witnesses miracles, and walks alongside them into the joyous reunion.
March 27th, 2026. The Septuagint Revelation. The author discovered a verse in the Book of Tobit utilizing the Septuagint translation that was entirely absent from standard Western Bibles. This verse is the lock, providing the mechanical explanation for the interaction with the candles in 2000, turning a 24-year secret into an airtight spiritual proof.
The game changer arrived on March 27th, 2026. 26 years after the initial candle ritual, the final puzzle piece fell into place.
While reading the ancient Greek Septuagint translation of the Book of Tobit, a single verse brought a shocking, game-changing detail, completely unlocking the identity of the unseen presence from the year 2000.
A final reading of the Septuagint unlocks the 2000 anomaly. The date, March 27, 2026, marks 26 years after the rooftop invocation. The text, specifically the Book of Tobit in the Orthodox Study Bible, led to the Epiphany, a cluster of highly specific details aligned with the ritual, finally answering the 26-year-old question: who blew out the candles? The stunning revelation on March 27, 2026 was made while reading the Book of Tobit in the Septuagint, the only version containing the game-changer detail. The discovery identified the exact mysterious figure who blew out the candles. This provides a clear, irrefutable signal that the 2000 prayer was heard, accepted, and finally answered. The Book of Tobit perfectly mirrors the May 2000 revelation through three elements: healing sight, which grants the eyes of the mind to perceive truth; the cosmic hierarchy, identifying the 7 principal angels; and the faithful pet, symbolizing unseen protection bridging the earthly and heavenly. The missing link was found on March 27, 2026, exactly 26 years after the rooftop ritual. A deep study of the Septuagint translation of the Book of Tobit provided the definitive key to the identity of the unseen presence in the year 2000. That key was the name Raphael. The hidden verse, Tobit 12:15 in the Septuagint, states, "I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints." This crucial detail, that Raphael specifically presents the prayers, is found explicitly only in the Septuagint traditions. The conclusion is that the soft breeze and sudden gust of wind on the rooftop in 2000 was the archangel Raphael physically collecting the prayer regarding the 7 planets to present it to the Creator. The conclusion is that the soft breeze and sudden gust of wind on the rooftop in 2000 was the archangel Raphael physically collecting the prayer regarding the 7 planets to present it to the Creator. Comparing the Latin Vulgate, which is incomplete context, with the Greek Septuagint, LXX, reveals the game changer in Tobit 12:15. The Greek phrase proves who collected the prayer and blew out the 9 candles in 2000. It was Raphael, the designated presenter of earthly petitions. Raphael, the archangel of prayer and healing, is mentioned in various texts, including Tobit and Enoch. The Septuagint alone confirms his unique role as the presenter of prayers. This is the detail that connected the ancient text to the 2000 event. The gust of wind that extinguished the candles on the rooftop was not random. It was the archangel Raphael, acting in his administrative role, personally collecting the prayer regarding the 7 planets to deliver it to the Creator. Tobit 12:15 is an airtight explanation for the 2000 event. The archangel Raphael, the presenter of prayers, was the unseen presence. The gentle breeze and the sudden gust of wind were him collecting the invocation and presenting it to the Creator. The mystery is solved. The Septuagint text of Tobit 12:15 confirms that the one who collected the prayer was Raphael, the archangel designated for presenting the prayers of the saints before the glory of the Holy One. The definitive key is found only in the ancient Greek translation. The Latin Vulgate mentions Raphael stands before the Lord, but only the Septuagint reveals his function, to present the prayers of the saints. The entire event can be summarized by 3 confirmations from the Book of Tobit. Raphael is one of the 7 archangels, he collects the prayers of the saints, and the presence of the dog parallels the spiritual guidance, showing the divine is involved with the earthly. In Tobit 12:15, Raphael reveals his true nature. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One. This archangelic septenary
corresponds directly to the 7 luminaries. It was Raphael, one of the 7, who answered the author's 2000 rooftop prayer regarding the 7 planets. Raphael commands Tobit and Tobias to not hide God's works. This serves as the author's direct authorization and duty to publish this 24-year revelation for humankind.
The Book of Tobit provides 3 spiritual mirrors for the 2000 revelation: the healing of sight, the cosmic hierarchy of the 7 angels, and the faithful pet, mirroring unseen divine protection.
The story of Tobit is anchored in the themes of prayer, cosmic intervention, and faithfulness, revealing how the divine answers human petitions and intercedes in the earthly realm through celestial beings like Raphael.
The 7 archangels mentioned in Tobit stand before God.
The blind spot of science. On May 5, 2000, science focused on the mathematical proximity of planets, missing the visual symmetry of the true Menorah day on May 2, 2000. The scientific community celebrated on May 5th, observing the planets at their closest mathematical proximity. However, they were entirely blind to the Menorah's symmetric shape, which was destroyed by this date, resulting in a lopsided arrangement. This illustrates the difference between mathematical proximity and symmetrical gnosis. The scientific consensus of May 5, 2000 focused on density, missing the sacred architecture and visual balance of May 2nd and 3rd, 2000, which perfectly represented the celestial menorah. The divine symmetry of May 2nd through 3rd offered visual perfection, which was missed by the world, functioning as a hidden Gnostic treasure. In contrast, the scientific consensus of May 5th focused on mathematical proximity, resulting in a visually lopsided arrangement. 7 luminaries, 2 distinct realities. In February 1962 and May 2000, the same 7 classical bodies aligned but produced diametrically opposed phenomena based on 3-dimensional factors: spatial tightness, astrological sign, and earthly visibility. The architecture of the heavens dictates human perception. Despite identical cosmic ingredients, the celestial geometry created 2 vastly different realities. One, a terrifying daytime spectacle; the other, an invisible phantom. February 1962 compressed the solar system into a massive stellium with a 16-degree span. This was the first time since 1821 that all 5 naked-eye planets, plus the Sun and Moon, were so tightly grouped. Both the February 1962 and May 2000 alignments featured the exact same composition of 7 classical bodies. Despite this, shifting geometries resulted in 2 entirely different visual phenomena. The 2000 celestial menorah alignment stretched across 26 degrees. It abandoned the tight knot of 1962 in favor of a staggered, elongated sequence, perfectly mirroring the symmetrical arms of a menorah. Comparing sacred architecture versus the chaotic knot, the 2000 alignment was orderly, with a 3-1-3 symmetrical structure across 26 degrees. The 1962 alignment was chaotic, a tight 16-degree clump with no branches or symmetry, resulting in an eclipse. Mathematical tightness does not equal structural perfection. The true menorah, May 2, 2000, showed structural symmetry. The scientific blind spot, May 5, 2000, focused on minimum mathematical separation. The chaotic knot, February 1962, was a cramped pileup causing an eclipse. Science prioritized points on a graph. Ancient wisdom prioritized symbolic architecture. Architecture versus chaos, the scientific blind spot. The chaotic knot, 1962, was a total solar eclipse. The sacred symmetry, May 2, 2000, was a perfectly balanced architecture, requiring the eyes of the mind. The lopsided mass, May 5, 2000, was mainstream science's fixation, where sacred geometry was destroyed. The celestial menorah of May 2, 2000 was a symmetrical 3-1-3 architecture, hidden behind the sun's glare. The chaotic knot of February 1962 was a dense, irregular pileup, visible as a public spectacle due to the eclipse, but lacking sacred geometric harmony. The Day of Small Things. To witness the hidden menorah required a perspective that looks beyond physical light. History reserves the stars for kings, but the true foundation of the heavens is unconditional love, best exemplified by a dachshund named Mommy. She was the catalyst that allowed the cosmic gate to be unlocked. The gravitational effect of the alignment was scientifically negligible, dismissed as having tidal effects less than a jumbo jet. Spiritually, however, it was the answer to a specific request. The 7 eyes of the Lord are linked directly to these planetary lamps roaming through the earth. The theology of the Day of Small Things balances empirical science against narrative architecture. While science focuses on mass and distance, narrative architecture values loyalty and symmetrical beauty, suggesting the universe is governed by love, not an indifferent machine. Zechariah 4:10 asks, "For who hath despised the day of small things?" This is a divine rebuke to those who measure significance only by scale. The heavens reserve their deepest secrets for the overlooked. The concept of confounding the wise through humble beginnings is central. We are reminded, do not despise these small beginnings. The sacred geometry missed by the scientific community was seen through the profound love for a small dog. We are meaning makers, driven to find our fixed place in a universe constantly in motion. The May 2000 alignment was a non-event to the scientific community, yet Zechariah 4:10 warns against despising the day of small things. The scientific establishment dismissed the 2000 alignment for lacking mathematical tightness, yet the greatest mysteries were unlocked not by a bigger telescope, but by the archetypal loyalty of a small pet dog. The image on this slide contains no text, but visually reinforces the themes of cosmic order and sacred architecture previously discussed in this video. This final image, also without text, brings the visual motifs together, providing a reflective conclusion on the power of small things and the hidden architecture of the universe.
The divine blueprint reveals a tripartite hierarchy. The physical orbits, sacred architecture, and spiritual guardians are parallel expressions of the same divine blueprint. The solar system is a choreographed dance of spiritual reality. This is the parallel blueprint of creation, the Tabernacle Menorah, the 7 chief angels, and the cosmic tree of life. Planets serve as the eternal flames. The angels form a celestial order, and the cosmic tree connects the universe. The tripartite cosmic order features the 7 archangels, the 7 planets, and the 7 menorah lamps. The symmetry in the tabernacle and the orbits of the stars are parallel expressions of the exact same divine blueprint. The archangels are the living intelligences of the cosmic tree. In ancient cosmology, the 7 heavens are administered by 7 chief angelic powers. Raphael acts as the central mediator, as cited in Tobit 12:15. We see the fractal tapestry of the divine blueprint with 3 rings, the inner ring representing the tabernacle, the middle ring representing the cosmos, and the outer ring representing the divine. They all reflect the exact same divine blueprint. The fractal design of the sacred universe consists of 4 layers: the canopy, the branches, the center, and the foundation. The universe is a breathing organism, and the symmetry is written across the stars, governed by angels and reflected on Earth. The heart's mirror shows the microcosm meeting the macrocosm. The sun, or Shamash, acts as the central hub, while the dog, Caleb, acts as the soul anchor of the earthly home. Hierarchy is subverted by the divine principle. Honoring the day of small things elevates loyalty above hierarchy, fulfilling the prophecy of Zechariah 4:10. Humility and unconditional love are the true foundations upon which the heavens balance. This is a 26-year sacred puzzle, starting with the anomaly in 2000, followed by the catalyst of Mommy's life, her passing, and the publication in 2024, leading to the missing link discovery in 2026. The completion of a Gnostic cycle spans from the cosmic cross in 1999 to the final decoding in 2026. The anguish of loss compels the translation of personal grief into a hallowed treasure for humankind, achieving the transformation. This is a legacy forged in the stars. The universe is a deliberately designed sanctuary. This grand celestial event is named the Mommy's Celestial Menorah, a testament that the highest virtues are reflected in the smallest earthly companions. For humankind, with love, a Gnostic revelation of the May 2000 planetary alignment. The physical universe and spiritual history are symmetrical. The journey from 1999 to 2026 represents a complete cycle of Gnostic awakening. Macroscopic truths are tethered to intimate microcosmic realities, proving that the heavens and the earth are bound together by a single divine blueprint. The synthesis of divine creation weaves together the cosmos, the doctrine, and the life. Planetary alignments, ancient scriptures, and the unconditional love of a dog are woven from the same divine fabric. The Mommy's Celestial Menorah is written permanently into the stars. The grandest mechanics of the cosmos are secondary to the law of love. The faithful heart of a small dog is forever mirrored in the architecture of the heavens. Mommy. The brightest beacon is a celestial and theological tribute to a black female dachshund, the mother of 6. In the author's eyes, she is the undisputed incarnation of faithful companionship, a soul worthy of being seated at the base of the cosmic menorah. This is a legacy of loyalty. The Mommy Menorah bridges the vast cosmos and the intimate, beating heart of a beloved companion. It reminds us that the universe is a masterpiece of love, reflected in the stars and the heart at our feet. To Mommy and to Mommy alone, an eternal light. Our dearest and most hallowed treasure now resides in heaven, preserved for all eternity. Through the alignment of the stars and the grace of the Creator, Mommy's legacy will shine on, a beacon of hope and love for all humankind.
NASA JPL Solar System Simulator. May 2000 Planetary Alignment. Hourly images from May 1st to 6th, 2000 UTC, with highlights of key moments.
May 1st, 2000. Monday, midnight UTC. May 2nd, 2000. Tuesday, midnight UTC. May 2nd, 2000. Tuesday, 1 p.m. UTC. As the moon appears, the 313 pattern forms with the sun as number 1. The Mommy Celestial Menorah takes shape. May 2nd, 2000. 5:30 p.m. UTC. Best Mommy's Celestial Menorah Symmetry. May 3rd, 2000. Wednesday, midnight UTC. May 4th, 2000. Thursday, midnight UTC. May 4th, 2000. 4:10 a.m. UTC. New moon at 4:12 a.m. UTC. May 4th, 2000. 4:15 a.m. UTC. A new pattern emerges. 412. The celestial menorah is gone. May 5th, 2000. Friday, midnight UTC. This is the date that caught the most interest from the media and scientific community. May 6th, 2000. Saturday, midnight UTC. May 6th, 2000. Saturday, 11:55 p.m. UTC.
Stellarium, May 2000 planetary alignment. Hourly images from May 1st to 6th 2000 UTC, with highlights of key moments.
May 1st, 2000. Monday, midnight UTC. May 2nd, 2000. Tuesday, midnight UTC. May 2nd, 2000, 8 a.m. UTC. When the moon begins to appear, the 313 pattern emerges, with the sun as number 1. The mommy celestial menorah starts to take shape. May 2nd, 2000, 5:30 p.m. UTC. Best Mommy's Celestial Menorah Symmetry. May 3rd, 2000, Wednesday, midnight UTC. May 4th, 2000, Thursday, midnight UTC. May 4th, 2000, 4:12 a.m. UTC. New moon. May 4th, 2000, 4:15 a.m. UTC. A new pattern emerges. 412. The celestial menorah is gone. May 5th, 2000, Friday, midnight UTC. This is the date that caught the most interest from the media and scientific community. May 6, 2000, Saturday, midnight UTC. May 6, 2000, Saturday, 11:59 p.m. UTC.
The Mommy's Celestial Menorah, Northern Hemisphere View. From May 1st to May 6th, 2000.
Monday, May 1st, 2000. Tuesday, May 2nd, 2000. Wednesday, May 3rd, 2000. Thursday, May 4th, 2000. Friday, May 5th, 2000. Saturday, May 6th, 2000.
The Mommy's Celestial Menorah, Southern Hemisphere View. From May 1st to May 6th, 2000.
Monday, May 1st, 2000. Tuesday, May 2nd, 2000. Wednesday, May 3rd, 2000. Thursday, May 4th, 2000. Friday, May 5th, 2000. Saturday, May 6th, 2000.